everyone, it's Natasha. Welcome back to my channel, and I wanted to get on here and show you what I am doing with the 10 pounds of chicken thighs that I purchased yesterday at Kroger for $2.99 for 5 pounds. So $6 worth of chicken thighs. I let them cook in my 18-quart roaster overnight with some veggies, carrots, celery, onion, and some seasonings. And this is what they look like after I pulled them out of my roaster. A lot of meat on there I'm going to be able to pull off. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the meat. I pulled them out just enough for them to cool off. So I'm going to peel the skin off and any of the fatty parts. And I'm going to go ahead and put them in my canning jars. What I plan to do is put about half meat, half, look how tender that is. It just falls off the bone. Half meat, half broth. And then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and can these up in my pressure canner. They're in pints, so it'll be 75 minutes for the chicken and the broth. And then I will put the bones back in the roaster, and I'm gonna let the broth that's left continue to cook down, and then I'll go ahead and strain that, and I'll cook that broth by itself. So, I mean, this is one chicken thigh. That's just fat. Grab a paper towel here so I can pick the jar up and show you. So just one chicken thigh filled up almost half a jar full of meat, and I've got a total of at least 15 chicken thighs here. So this is another nice one. I'll go ahead and pull the skin off of that. Take the bone from the other one and put it back in. So I'm just going to discard the skin and the fat. Throw that away. I don't need it. Finish putting, look how tender that is. I'm just blown away. And it makes such flavorful, like chicken and noodles. You can put it in casseroles. You can put it in about anything. So anything that you would put cooked chicken in. And the taste is just amazing. And so I'm so happy I got this deal. There's the bone. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull the meat off the rest of these thighs, and then I will bring you back when I have it all completed, and then we'll go ahead and get ready to put these jars in the pressure canner. All right, I am back, and I am so excited. I ended up getting 15 pints of half full of, or almost 3/4 away full of dark chicken meat. Now, again, I paid $6 for 10 pounds of chicken. And if you want to include the 99 cents worth of onions I used, and the celery and the carrots and the spices and everything, I figured out where it works out to about 75 cents a pint. I'm going to have chicken and dark chicken meat and broth. That is, to put that up on my shelf to have throughout the winter to be able to use in my dishes. I can't tell you how excited I am. So I am getting ready to take the broth out of here. I'm going to go ahead and run it through the strainer just to clarify it a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I like to have it a little bit clearer for storing. So it just looks nicer in the jars. If I was going to use it right away, I probably wouldn't worry too much about it, but since I'm going to store it on the shelves, I'm going to go ahead and drain this. So I'm going to do, I've just got a coffee mug here. I'm just going to do about 12 of these coffee mugs full. And then pour that clarified broth into my jars and get ready to pressure can that. I hope all of you who follow my canning videos and my prepping videos and my food storage videos take advantage of these meat sales when you find them. Meat is expensive these days, and if you're a family like mine who relies on a lot of meat for your protein source, I've mentioned it before, and I'll mention it 100 times more. With my husband being a type 1 diabetic, protein and meat is our #1 food source. So we have to find ways to save money, because I cannot pay some of the grocery store food prices for meat prices for as much meat as we eat. All right, so that is the broth. I'll go ahead and stick the strainer back over here. Let the rest of that broth go back into the pot. Because like I said, I'm not just going to get the chicken and the cans of chicken and broth, but I'm also going to have some broth. I'm going to go ahead and let this cook down probably till this evening. And then I will take that and can it up tonight later. And I'll bring you back when I do that, so you can see the whole entire process. I'm going to throw this cheesecloth away. I love cheesecloth in the kitchen for being able to strain things. Okay, there's that. All right, so let's go ahead and put the broth over our chicken. I leave about a 1/2 inch headspace, and since this has meat in it, you definitely want to can it for 75 minutes for pints. My elevation is 10 pounds of pressure. Look at that. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And no matter what, I know that we won't go hungry this winter for any reason. Bad weather, there's all kinds of reasons that you can need to have food storage. And I can also help out other people that may need help. People at church, friends that may need help. If somebody needs a meal quickly, I can grab 1 or 2 of these jars of chicken and broth, and I can put together a casserole, I can put together a soup, I can put together a chicken and rice dinner. There's so many things that I can do with this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn you off while I finish filling these jars, and bring you back when they're all filled so that you can see them getting ready to go into the canner. The canning process, and we'll see you in a little bit. All right, I am back. I have all 14 jars of chicken thighs and broth ready to go in the canner. I'm just going to wipe all of the rims off with a rag soaked in vinegar, so that if there's any residual meat or fats or liquid, that might prevent the lid from sealing. Then I've taken care of that. Plus it gives me an extra opportunity to check and make sure none of my jars have any chips or cracks in them that would also prevent that from sealing. I have my lids and I have my rings. And for some of you that have asked, no, I do not boil my lids or simmer my lids anymore. I know some people still do, but it's not necessary, especially if you're going to pressure can, because at 90 minutes at the heat of pressure canner, everything gets sterilized. Trust me, it's not an issue. So I will use those. Again, my kitchen, my rules. You do what works for you in your kitchen. No judgment from me, and I don't expect any judgment from any of you, because most of my followers know now that I am a mom who enjoys prepping, canning, and cooking for her family. I'm by no means an expert. I just like to bring you all along as I do these things, because I think it's important to share these tips nowadays so that they're not lost I think too many people have gotten away from cooking from scratch or cooking with a budget in mind. There's so many ways we can save money, and cooking for me happens to be the #1 way that I can save on our household budget. I don't see the point of wasting money on things that it's not necessary to when it comes to cooking. You can cook the best, most delicious, most nutritious meals from scratch. Think about it. I cook this chicken and vegetables with broth that I know where everything came from in my kitchen. There's no surprises in it. Nothing that's going to hurt anyone. So there's all of the lids that have been wiped down in vinegar. Or all the jars, we're going to put the lids on. These are all, I specifically used all narrow mouth. It's up to you. I like to save my wide mouth for certain projects that are more difficult to get out of the jar. Say like when I can meatloaf, or if I can more of the pineapple upside down cakes that I did. That video you saw, that stuff, it's hard to get out of a narrow mouth jar. So save your wide mouth because they're more expensive for other projects, and just use I forgot lid, just use your regular mouse for these kind of projects. Last lid. Now we're going to put our rings on. Fingertip tight. Alright, I have all 15 jars in the canner ready to be pressure canned. So it's going to be 75 minutes at 10 pounds pressure for my elevation. I'll bring you back when they're ready to come out. Alright, so my chicken and broth has come down off of pressure. So I'm just going to undo the clamps so that we can take them out of the canner and see how they turn out. Remember to always open your lid away from you because it is very, very hot, and otherwise you are going to have steam burns. There is our chicken broth. Look at it, still boiling. So let me pull that out of the canner. I'm not going to leave the video on while I'm pulling these across the kitchen because that's dangerous. Bring you back in just a minute. All right, that is all 15 jars out of the canner, and if you look closely at the jars, every single one of them is boiling. If you're new to canning, you will know that if you take a jar out of the canner and it is not boiling, most likely, I would say 95% of the time, that jar will not seal and it will be a fail, and you will have to either use it right away or recan it because it's not going to. If it doesn't have the contents boiling, it's not going to when it comes out of the canner. So there are my 15 beautiful jars of chicken thigh meat and broth. I figured it out. It is 75 cents a jar. That is amazing. I'm so impressed by that because that is a deal you rarely ever find. 15 jars of chicken and stock going into the cabinet for winter prep. So anyway, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more food storage canning videos, please let me know and leave a comment below if you've gotten a really good deal on some meat and if you hunted it or if you got it from the grocery store and how you put it up. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Bye.